What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got great in the 2022 NFL Draft 3 years later. Let's check this out.
NFL draft classes
Okay.
3 years into their careers.
Turn this up a little
In today's
bit.
video, we will be going back and grading the back half of the first round of the 2022 draft, which of course is picks 17 through 32. For anyone interested, we graded picks 1 through 16 last week, and that video will be linked at the end. Not every
I already reacted to that
is
one.
the same, as some are more top-loaded than others, and I think you'll see that in today's video. We will be going in reverse order, so we will be starting with the Minnesota Vikings selection of safety.
Yeah,
Lewis
where
Cine,
happened to Lewis Cine, bro? Ain't he like?
Johnson.
Is he still in the Vikings or no?
So without further ado, let's begin. The Minnesota Vikings traded back from pick 12 with the division rival Lions and drafted Georgia safety.
I know he's been dealing with a lot of
Lewis Cine
injuries.
pick. Unfortunately, Cine broke his leg during his rookie season in just week 4 in a special teams play, and his season was over. Injuries are unfortunately a part of football, and everyone was hoping he could be a starter in 2023 and forget what happened during his rookie season. But that never happened, and pretty quickly Lewis Cine became forgotten about, and he became a complete whiff of a first-round pick. He played 10 total defensive snaps for the Vikings before being released in final cuts during the 2024 preseason, and since has played for the Bills and Eagles. He finished his Vikings tenure with 1 total tackle, and I don't think this is an exaggeration to say this is pretty close to an all-time draft bust. Not surprisingly, this is an F grade.
Yeah.
Dax Hill of the Bengals is
Dax Hill, that's Justice Hill, brother.
Supposed to be a developmental pick with the intentions to eventually replace Jesse Bates. Unfortunately for the Bengals, Jesse Bates is one of the best safeties in the league and was immediately named a second-team All-Pro in his first year with the Falcons in 2023 and had another 4 interceptions in 2024 and has been one of the very few bright spots for the Falcons defense over the past few years. In a lot of ways, this pick reminds me of the A.J. Brown Treylon Burks selection, which we'll get to later in the video, where the Bengals thought it would be a seamless transition to replace a great player. Obviously,
You can't do that in this league, bro. It's not that easy to replace elite talent, man.
Unfortunately, Dax Hill tore his ACL in week 5.
And you know the Bengals are not gonna do that whatsoever.
Like,
Like, gang, a team a team that has a potential to lose 3 big time players, at least 2 out of the big 3. Trey Hendrickson, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. They better pay Jamar Chase soon, bro. Like, real spill, gang. They better pay that nigga soon. Because if not, oh my gosh. They're gonna be fucked.
3 years ago.
Real shit. They already fucked right now because Hendrickson about to get traded. But
and I thought he looked good when he was on the field in 2024. I think this is one of the most difficult picks to grade from this draft because a lot of Hill's situation has been out of his control. I do think the talent is probably close to a B or B plus level based on what we've seen, but I don't think the organization did him any favors from the start. This grade gets a C-.
okay.
George Karlaftis of the Chiefs
George Karlaftis
connected to a team with a Chris Jones, or really any time there is already a premier defensive lineman or edge rusher on the team, but the reality is for George is he was never going to be the main focus of the opposing offensive line, and that favors him in a lot of situations by having a teammate like Chris Jones, and in 3 years, Karlaftis has 24.5 sacks and has been a really key contributor for the Chiefs. He had a 3-sack game this past postseason against the Texans, and believe it or not, has 8 sacks in 10 career postseason games just 3 years into his career. He has back-to-back seasons with 60 or more pressures, and he was drafted at just
Karlaftis is really good.
So believe it or not, Karlaftis is still younger than some 2025 NFL draft prospects. I don't think he is a premier edge rusher by any means, and I think Chiefs fans would agree with that, but he has 1 double-digit sack season and has continuously been a key contributor in January. I think he will receive a contract extension from the Chiefs when the time comes, and after an A grade last year, he gets another A grade this year.
Okay.
Cole Strange was the Patriots' first round pick, and I didn't like this pick from the minute it was made.
I mean, I ain't really heard much about bro since he got drafted, to keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? That nigga's a part of the Patriots, so
the Chiefs could get a consensus top 15 player in the draft in Trent McDuffie, while New England traded back to draft a player who was widely viewed as a 3rd-round pick. Rams coach Sean McVay laughed at the selection and basically said he was a guy they were looking at because he thought he would be available late on day 2 when they were on the clock. As cliche as it sounds, the selection of Cole Strange was a very strange selection, and unfortunately he has only played in 13 games over the last 2 years.
Damn, only
The
13
best ability in
games?
the NFL is, of course, availability, and even when he plays, it's not like he is a game-changing guard that other teams fear when he's on the field.
Damn, this must be
I
an
do
F
think he'll
then, eh?
stick around the league for some time, but this pick received a lot of rightful criticism at the time, and through 3 years, the criticism has proven to be warranted. The Patriots have been a bad team over the last couple of seasons, and it's because of decisions like this. 3 years later, this is an F.
Okay.
Devontae Wyatt was
Devontae Wyatt. He's been a solid piece on that Packers D-line, bro.
Walker, and this was an all-around frustrating draft process for the Packers because they desperately needed a receiver entering the 2022 draft, yet used both of their first-round picks on defensive players. Devontae Wyatt was also an older prospect as he was 24 during his rookie season.
Damn.
And anytime you have an older prospect, you expect to see production pretty early because a lot of the time, though not every time, they are more physically developed.
And a former
mature
Georgia
for that
Bulldog,
matter,
too.
Wyatt didn't play much during his rookie year, but stepped up in his second year as he had over 40 pressures from the interior, before having a bit of a regression in 2024 as he finished the year with just 23 total tackles in 14 games. Now, you can look at him as having 5 sacks in year 3 through rose-colored lenses, but I don't think that would justify this pick. He has just 5 starts in 3 years, and I thought he was trending in the right direction entering 2024, but did not take the next step. He also missed some time in 2024, and this is a player who has played more than 400 snaps in a season just once in 3 years. He will be 27 during the 2025 season, and 3 years later, this is a C.
Okay.
Jags linebacker Devin Lloyd. The Jags traded up to get Lloyd through a trade with the Bucks.
I mean, he's a really good linebacker duo with Foye and Louis.
Overall, there's been a lot more good than bad. I really think Lloyd has improved over the last 2 years of his career, and it's shown. The one big knock with him that Jags fans get frustrated with is he gets beat in coverage at times, and at times it can be pretty bad on tape, but he also does a lot of things right. He's a really good run-stopping linebacker, he can get after the quarterback when they need him to, and I don't think he gets as much credit as he should. I think he is an above-average linebacker and gets far too criticized at times for what can be a near-impossible job, which of course is coverage as an NFL linebacker. There's also times where
you gotta cover these freak-ass running backs and tight ends and shit.
I know the coverage woes can be pretty frustrating, but I like him, and I think this was a pretty good draft pick, and 3 years later, this is a B+.
Okay.
Jermaine Johnson was
Jermaine Johnson. I ain't gonna lie, I fuck with Jermaine Johnson. It sucked that, you know what I'm saying, he had a torn Achilles this year, bro. But when he come back, hey, they gonna be dominant. I ain't gonna lie, especially with Will McDonald now, you know what I'm saying, coming to his own. Got Quinnen Williams.
Slowly in his rookie year and have him be a rotational guy early on, and have him eventually be a starter and a guy who can legitimately get after the quarterback in year 2 and beyond. Credit to the Jets, because that was exactly what they did.
I'll give this an A for sure.
As he had over 50 pressures, had 16 quarterback hits, and had 7.5 sacks. Unfortunately, Johnson suffered a torn Achilles in week 2 of the 2024 season and missed the rest of the year. Admittedly, this is a pretty tricky pick to grade because year 1 was kind of a wash and year 2 was a really good year, and ultimately a glimpse of the player I think Jermaine Johnson will be if he can stay healthy. But we are 3 years in with a former first-round pass rusher that has played just 33 career games and has 10 career sacks. I have praised the Jets' 2022
sacks is not the you know what I'm saying, not really the main part for it, bro. As long as you getting pressure, like, you know what I'm saying, like you will want your edge rusher to finish, you know what I'm saying, the sacks and shit, but pressure is a main part of being an elite edge rusher, bro.
Out of Jermaine's control, we are going to give this a B grade.
Okay. I'll take that.
Was the Ravens'
it's an A+.
It's
an A+, bro. A+. One of the best centers in the league, if not the best center, bro. Real shit.
Of the Ravens as a franchise.
I like the fact we traded back up to get him too.
Brown and drafted an All-Pro in Kyle Hamilton, and they traded back a few spots with Buffalo later in the first round and drafted a multiple-time.
Oh, Buffalo helped us get him.
For a long time.
Shit, y'all just love helping our niggas in the AFC, huh?
As one of the best players throughout the draft process, but fell down the board due to his positional value. And 3 years later, there are a lot of teams that wish they would have just stayed put and took what was a non-sexy pick in the first round and called it a day. Whenever
it's my guy right there. And we just re-signed Ronnie Stanley, too. It's been a W offseason so far.
Lamar's job easier, and he is an extremely pivotal player to their success. He has not allowed a sack since his rookie season, which is now over 1,100 pass blocking snaps per PFF.
What a dog, bro.
Given that he
A
did
plus,
that at
bro.
just 23
A
and
plus.
24 years old, I think he's more than here to stay. There's a reason they say to draft Iowa offensive linemen, and he and Bucks tackle Tristan Wirfs are shining examples. This was a tremendous draft process by a really well-run organization, and this is an A+.
Facts. Let's
Tyler
go.
Smith was a player
Tyler
I liked
Smith.
a lot in the
I ain't gonna lie.
process,
Tyler
and
Smith
I
is
saw
so
him
versatile, bro.
very favorably to the
He
NFL.
can play like all
And
every
whichever
single
team
position on the offensive line,
will be
right?
getting a good
I know he can play
football
tackle and
player,
guard. I don't know if he
whether
plays
it's
center,
guard or
but
tackle. He's a really explosive athlete for his size, and 3 years in, he's already a multiple-time Pro Bowler and was a second-team All-Pro in 2023.
it's an A
I know
for
people
sure.
like to mock the
Maybe even
Cowboys
A
and
plus.
throw jokes in about the NFC Championship game streak and all of
But
that.
I wonder
But
how
they
their
are
offensive
definitely
line
doing a
gonna
lot
look
of
with no
things
Zach
well in the
Martin, man.
franchise. And having a 3-year run of first-round picks in CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and Tyler Smith
Only
is
2
a good
sacks
example
allowed?
of that.
Okay.
And when push comes to shove, they should extend all 3 players because all 3 are very good at what they do, and they've already extended CeeDee Lamb, of course. I personally don't think Tyler Smith will ever be in the conversation for best guard in football, but he's an invaluable player to the Cowboys, and 3 years later, this is an A+. Bills corner Kaiir Elam is
Kaiir
up, and I know
Elam,
this
yo.
pick is tough. to
Every
look back
every
on for
time I hear the last name Elam, bro, I get PTSD, bro. If you're a Ravens fan, you fucking know. Real
Bills
shit.
fans, specifically because
Oh
their
my
buddies in
gosh,
Kansas City
bro.
took Trent McDuffie just 2 picks prior to taking Elam, and Trent, of course, would become a multiple-time All-Pro. Kaiir Elam, on the other hand, has been a healthy scratch multiple
Oh,
times,
what a
and he
pick.
became more of a special teams player this past year. He played significant time in the final few games defensively due to injuries ahead of him on the depth chart, and as a third-year player that's a former first-round pick, that's what you need to know about this selection. Now, I know you may be thinking this is an automatic F grade, and I would understand why, as Kaiir has been a healthy scratch and has only played in 29 career games.
If you getting healthy
but
scratch,
even
you know
that
something's up,
interception
bro.
against the Dolphins in the playoffs in 2022, when Buffalo was losing, that gave them the ball on Miami's 33-yard line, and they took the lead in the second half of the game. He also had an interception in the 2023 playoffs when the Steelers were in the red zone, and 2 playoff interceptions in games Buffalo, and especially a game-changing interception in 2022, is more than nothing. And this doesn't change the grade to a B or anything crazy, but I did at least want to note that. And because of the playoff contributions, we are going to bump this to a D.
Okay.
Quay Walker was the first of
Quay
two
Walker.
Packers' first-round picks, as this was the offseason they traded Devontae Adams to the Raiders. Quay has racked up a lot of tackles since becoming a Packer, as he's had over 100 tackles in each of the first 3 years of his career, despite missing a few games in each of the last 2 years, but that doesn't mean he's particularly great. Quay tested pretty well during the pre-draft process, as he had a 4.52 40, which was in the 90th percentile for the linebacker position.
Oh
He
my
also
gosh.
tested in the 78th percentile in the broad jump.
Yo.
He's a really good athlete at nearly 6'4", 240, but that doesn't always translate to being a good linebacker. And with the pre-draft process going on for the 2025 draft right now, I don't think 40 times mean that much for linebackers, and I think Quay is a good example why. There's thresholds, of course, but a lot of the time it's about instincts. And I don't think Quay reads the game particularly well, and I know Packers fans get pretty frustrated with Walker at times too. The flashes are certainly there, and there's times where Quay will go a few games in a row where he looks like a pretty good player, but he's not consistent, and I think this is who he is as a player 3 years into his career. A C grade. The Kansas City
Trent
Chiefs
McDuffie, this is an
traded
A
up to
plus,
pick
bro.
21
One
to
of the
Washington
best
corner
corners
McDuffie,
in the
who
NFL,
surprisingly
bro.
fell down the board.
Pure lockdown.
He was a consensus top 15 player.
They got to get another corner to go opposite side of him, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Back so they could draft a third-round guard at pick 29. Perfectly describes the direction each franchise has taken over the past few years.
Yeah, this is an A plus for sure,
McDuffie
though.
is a 2-time All-Pro and is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and as crazy as this is going to sound, experienced the first playoff loss of his career in February of 2025.
That is
The
crazy. I
Chiefs
ain't
had
gonna lie.
2 first-round picks in 2022, and they hit on each of them in
Let's see
January
what happens
of
when the refs can't help you out.
The Chiefs' success
You know what I'm
over the past
saying?
few years has
And they bailed him out on that A.J. Brown play, too.
Extremely successful drafting in back-to-back years in 2021 and 2022. We have talked about not overthinking the good players in draft classes before, and this certainly applied to McDuffie in 2022. Now, I'd be lying if I said I thought he would be a 2-time All-Pro in the first 3 years of his career, but he played a tremendous part in the Chiefs winning back-to-back Super Bowls in 2022 and 2023. His most iconic play at this point is probably the deflection in Super Bowl 58 in a win over the 49ers, and 3 years later, this is an A+. Super Bowl champion quarterback Kenny Pickett is up, and he was the
This a
Steelers'
fucking
first round
F,
pick,
nigga.
and he could be the successor to Ben Roethlisberger. The hope
Like, what possessed the Steelers to draft this nigga in the first round? I think they got mesmerized by that fake slide he had at Pitt, bro. Cause ain't no fucking way. This nigga not even a Steeler anymore, bro. Got traded to the Eagles, gang, to be a backup, and he got a free ring. He got a free ring out of that.
back to being legitimate postseason
Like,
contenders
bro.
year in and year out, and that the
And I
Steelers
can't believe my Ravens lost to this nigga, bro. Like, real shit. Multiple times.
would be a great quarterback and receiver duo for
Crazy.
the next several years. And you can even add in Najee Harris.
Fake ass Morgan
from
Wallen.
the 2021 class. I didn't think Pickett's rookie season was all that bad, as his
13
offensive
touch
line
to
wasn't
13
great,
picks.
and he led multiple
Crazy.
game-winning drives, and I thought once there was some stability that he would be all right in 2023. I like Kenny heading into the 23 season because the flashes were there, but the consistency was never there, and that's ultimately what came back and
Yeah,
hit
never
him
trust a
at the
nigga
end.
who
He would make
wears
a good
2
play
gloves
and
at
followed
QB,
up
bro.
with misreading plays or receivers not
Yeah.
getting open or flat out bad decisions. He finished his Steelers' tenure with 13 touchdowns to 13 interceptions before being traded to the Eagles last offseason. The Steelers spent a first-round pick on a quarterback that did not work out, and this pick is an F.
Very much
Trevor
so.
Penning is up, and
Trevor
this was
Penning?
a pick I did not like from the beginning, due in large part to the process of this.
I'm glad we didn't draft this
The Saints
nigga.
determined they had to have a second first-round pick in 2022, and to make a long story short, this is how the Eagles acquired Jalen Carter in the 2023 draft. They had the long-term vision to be patient with the process, and the results for each franchise speak for themselves. Penning suffered a torn ligament in his foot before his rookie season began, which limited his time in his rookie year, and was benched in 2023 nearly midway through the year.
Wow.
With veteran Ryan Ramczyk out for 2024 and the Saints spending their 2024 first-round pick on Talisi Fuaga, Penning got his chance to start at right tackle this past year, and it was bad. He allowed over 50 pressures, had 13 penalties, and was a net negative for a team selecting inside the top 10 of the 2025 draft. I was hoping Trevor Penning would prove me wrong, as I also wasn't the biggest fan of him as a prospect, and much preferred Tulsa's Tyler Smith, who eventually went to Dallas, but this pick was bad from the start. The process was bad. He unfortunately sustained an injury which limited most of his rookie year. He was benched in his second year, and he did not play good in his third year. And here we are 3 years later, and this pick is an F.
Damn.
The Tennessee Titans
F,
traded A.J.
F.
Brown to the Eagles.
They real deal traded AJ Brown to try and get this nigga who they thought was gonna be AJ Brown 2.0. That, like, bro, does he even have I don't even think he's got a single touchdown, bro, receiving touchdown. I think I remember him getting like a fumble recovery touchdown like a couple years ago when Derrick Henry fumbled. But other than that, I don't think I nigga got a receiving touchdown or rushing touchdown. Like, bro, and he just cannot stay healthy for shit, bro. Like, gang.
15th pick in the first round.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they like cut him or trade him before the start of the 2025 season, bro. Being so dead ass.
And after seeing the Vikings
Like,
trade
Traylon
Stephon
Burks is
Diggs
so
and
bad.
draft Justin Jefferson, Tennessee quickly found out it's a lot easier said than done in terms of replacing an all-pro caliber talent.
Like, you just cannot do that.
Traylon
And now
Burks had
AJ Brown got a
690
ring now.
receiving yards, a
Like,
mark
bro.
AJ Brown had hit for the Eagles by week 9 of the 2022
Like, and I'm low key glad they traded him because like AJ Brown was way too good for Tennessee. I'm gonna keep it a buck. They did not deserve that nigga. They wasted the careers of AJ Brown and Derrick Henry. Now they both in better teams now, bro.
Burks was the 6th
Like,
receiver
yeah.
taken in the first round of the 2022 draft, and unfortunately was the least productive of the 6. And it's even more embarrassing for the Titans that AJ
This
Brown
nigga
has
just
been such a
fall?
good player for the Birds since this trade was made. And since this trade was made, A.J. Brown has 2 Super Bowl appearances to Traylon Burks' 1 career touchdown. And as you can probably guess, this pick is an F.
Yeah.
Zion Johnson was the Chargers'
Zion
first round pick
Johnson?
back in 2022, and Zion was an incredible athlete coming out of Boston College. He tested in the 88th percentile or better in the vertical jump, broad jump, 3-cone drill,
missed the last
squat
one.
shuttle, and the bench press. He also had 34-inch arms, which is a positive, and was a really clean prospect. He's had a lot of ups and downs as an NFL player, and I think the best way to describe Zion Johnson as an NFL player is consistently inconsistent. I really think he's the type of player where he'll have a few good games, and you'll hype him up to your friends about him being a good player, and then he has a really bad game or an incredibly bad rep that everyone sees.
Bro,
and
need to
that's kind of how the
retwist
first 3
badly.
years have played out. In terms of actual talent, I do think Zion Johnson is pretty easily in the upper half of the league when he's at his best, but he's not consistent at all. And he's allowed 33 or more pressures in every year since being drafted and has been an incredibly up and down player. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he put it all together one year and eventually made a Pro Bowl because the flashes are there. But the consistency,
if he can put it all together, bro, like Chargers will have one of the best offensive lines in the league. You know what I'm saying? They got Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater.
6% of people watching are subscribed.
And then if he can put things together, bro, you know what I'm saying?
Please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.
But hey, man, shit, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know what other NFL videos y'all want to react to. Without further ado, I'm out.
I'ma make them feel me, make them people when they chow me. And if you don't know me, I'ma make sure that you know me. I hate to say it, but I really think I'm broke. But I know I'm chosen, I really know I'm chosen. I know I'm chosen. I was just lost a year ago, but now I'm focused. When good at sports, this microphone can be my trophy. Not taking drugs, I found a better way of coping.